Hello and welcome into another episode of Let Me Live. I am your host, Liv Moods, and we've got a lot to talk about from week 5 in the NFL. Let's start with the obvious. I am a Denver Broncos fan. Are the Denver Broncos back? They might be. I actually went to that game. If you didn't know, the Broncos have lost 8 straight to their rival in the Las Vegas Raiders. Finally broke the losing streak. They're now on a 3-game win streak despite having a very rough start to their season, starting 0-2 with a rookie quarterback, with the second highest paid coach in the NFL in Sean Payton. There were a lot of question marks still around this Broncos team. A lot of things unanswered. Wasn't sure how the season was going to end. Week 5 to talk about. I want to start with the breaking news that we heard today, actually. The Jets, after having a 2-3 start to their season with a Aaron Rodgers that is back from last year's Achilles injury, still falling 2-3 in the beginning of their season. They have now fired their head coach in Robert Saleh. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this because I feel like there's a trend that happens all too often with Aaron Rodgers, and that is this. 1, we have seen in many post-game pressers, Aaron Rodgers not really taking accountability the same way other quarterbacks do in this league. Listen, this is not a one-person game. This is a team sport, and I completely understand that. But 90% of the time, you have quarterbacks that say, hey, listen, that was on me. But I think everybody was thinking the same thing. Bo Nix is like, it was an overthrown ball. He did his best. Can't blame him. That's kind of how quarterbacks are supposed to talk about their offense. Aaron Rodgers, in so many ways, refuses to take accountability. He is untouchable. He's an oddball. We know this. But I'm kind of starting to think that the shine is wearing off on Aaron Rodgers. He is 40 years old in this league, and we are now seeing rookie quarterbacks enter this league and dominate in ways that we normally wouldn't see this early in the season. It's a young and it's a very physical league, and Aaron Rodgers is not getting any younger, okay? He's older in this league, and he's also coming off of an Achilles injury. So there's a few factors here with Aaron Rodgers that may warrant this 2-3 start, but like we see this happen all too often across all of the major leagues of sports, not just football. The coach turnover rate is pretty embarrassing. The second a team falls to a 2-3 record to start their season, let's get rid of the head coach. But let's actually talk about Aaron Rodgers, shall we? I'm kind of sick of Aaron Rodgers not taking accountability for the way that his teams perform. Aaron Rodgers, 3 interceptions last game in London against the Vikings. Listen, I took the Jets. I bet the Jets plus 2.5 to cover against the Vikings. What does that mean if you're new to the world of sports betting? I needed the Jets to lose by less than 2 points. I thought, hey, after an embarrassing loss to the Denver Broncos, 10-9, the Jets lost to the Broncos. It was probably one of the ugliest football games I've ever watched. Aaron Rodgers, 0 passing touchdowns in that game, the first time ever in his career. He's losing some shine, folks. I hate to say it. Then he goes to London, 3 interceptions. He's losing some shine, folks. Okay, at what point do we start pointing some of the blame to Aaron Rodgers? But no, Aaron Rodgers is untouchable. But let me tell you this. In 2023, when the Jets had Zach Wilson as their starting quarterback, and every Jets fan was up in arms, get rid of this guy. He doesn't deserve to be in this league. He is horrible. Well, back in 2023, when the Jets started with a 2-3 record, the same record they have now with Zach Wilson as their starting quarterback, 93 points scored in the first 5 games of their season. In 2024, with Aaron Rodgers back and healthy and ready to play, they also start their season 2-3, and through those 5 games, 93 points. So, I'm sorry, I thought Aaron Rodgers was an upgrade. Apparently not. Apparently he is not. He has the same exact starting record as Zach Wilson did in 2023, and the best part is the same amount of points being scored. I thought Aaron Rodgers was supposed to save this team, but no. Instead of blaming Aaron Rodgers because he is untouchable, we've got to find somewhere else to blame. So out you go, Robert Saleh. You are gone. You are no longer a head coach in the NFL. It's crappy, but it's the way that things run in the NFL and in the NBA and in the MLB. Listen, if you're a head coach, you better be winning games, because if you're not, you're gone. You're the first person to get fired and to lose their job when things aren't going swimmingly. But I do find that unfair because I think Aaron Rodgers is part of the problem. So we'll start with that. Robert Saleh is out of the New York Jets franchise, but I think Aaron Rodgers may need to be in conversation to have the same exact thing happen. I don't think he's got that sparkle and shine like he has in years past. I'm not saying he's not a great quarterback in this league. He's arguably one of the best we've seen, but the league is getting younger, the league is getting more physical, and Aaron Rodgers is getting older, and he's turning over the ball. It is what it is. The Jets still, though, are in conversation to acquire Davante Adams. They are very interested in that. If you don't know, Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers, they have played together before. And then Davante Adams went to the Raiders. He has now requested a trade. He wants out of Vegas. And I get it. Listen, when you're a good quarterback or a good receiver like Davante Adams, you want to win games. You really do. So I don't blame him for wanting to get out. But who knows where he'll end up? I'm not sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams can be reunited. Davante Adams is way too good of a receiver in this league to not be on a winning team. I can imagine it's very frustrating. So it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. And as we know, Aaron Rodgers typically gets his way. Aaron Rodgers has also had a couple shady moments with his head coach, Robert Saleh, this season. And what do you know? Robert Saleh is gone and Aaron Rodgers is staying. I would not be surprised if he is reunited with Davante Adams because he wants to be. Aaron Rodgers says jump and everybody else says how high. I hate it because I'm not a huge Aaron Rodgers fan, but it is what it is. Can't control it. Aaron Rodgers, do your thing. Okay, let's move on. Only 2 undefeated teams left standing. The Kansas City Chiefs have started their season 5-0. They just got a win against the Saints last night in Monday Night Football. And the Vikings, of all teams, are also starting their season 5-0. If you don't know about the Vikings, well, they actually drafted J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. Michigan won the championship last year in college football. And yeah, we've got a J.J. McCarthy that was acquired by the Vikings. He had a really great showing in preseason, and then he got injured. We have not seen him play in the regular season, so Sam Darnold, here he comes, stepping into that role. I'm not sure anybody knew what he was going to look like, and he has been flipping dominating. When the Vikings were heading to London, they were 4-0, not just straight up as winners of the football games, but also against the spread, meaning whatever spread Vegas set for them to cover, meaning how many points should they win by? They have won by that many points. They are dominating to start their year. Will it last? I don't know. The Saints had a really hot start to their season, and now they have lost 3 straight. It makes you wonder. First 2 games of their season, Derek Carr and this Saints team looked like they were Super Bowl bound, and just like that, they are not anymore. They are now 2-3. It's very interesting. That's why I always say don't overreact early. Listen, I thought that all hope was lost for my Denver Broncos, and what do you know? We're turning things around and we're looking pretty sharp. So there's still a lot of football left. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not declare a Super Bowl winner just yet, although I do think it will be the Ravens. Shout out Lamar Jackson. If there is one team outside of my home team, the Denver Broncos, that I would love to see win a Super Bowl and win a ring, it would absolutely be the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Very likable team. Lamar Jackson, if you don't like Lamar Jackson, get help immediately. All that to say, 5-0 start for the Vikings and the Chiefs. They are both looking great, but again, it's only week 5. We've got 18 weeks of the NFL season before we really have to start going, all right, who's winning? Who's winning? The Chiefs had a rough start to their season last year and won the Super Bowl for the 2nd year in a row. So a lot of football left to be played. I want to know from you, who do you think right now, as an over-exaggerated early prediction, who is winning the Super Bowl? I'm going to go with the Ravens, but if I were to go with a sleeper pick and not really look at, you know, the obvious answer, if you will, I'm going to go ahead and look at the Texans, and I'm going to go ahead and look at maybe the Lions. I know that's kind of a popular pick because the Lions are playing really well. Maybe the Bucks even. There's a couple teams in there that I think are sleeper teams that are playing really great football and may continue to do so. So keep your eyes on those teams. But for now, I'll root for my Denver Broncos and, of course, root against the Kansas City Chiefs because I'm not sure any of us want to see them win 3 in a row. My God, let's move on from them. Okay. I also want to talk to you about the rookie quarterbacks and the way in which they have been dominating. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Bo Nix are combined for the most wins we've seen from rookie quarterbacks in a long time. They are off to a great start. Like I said, Bo Nix really turning things around for this Broncos team despite starting 0-2. And then we've got the Commanders who are actually leading their division right now. They're in a tough division with the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Giants. The Commanders are 4-1, Cowboys 3-2, Eagles 2-2, and the Giants 2-3. Okay, Commanders looking really nice. Jaden Daniels is a very mobile quarterback. He uses his legs a lot. I do worry that that's not going to last. I do worry that he plays a dangerous game. We've seen Tua get hit quite a bit. We know Josh Allen plays very, very physical, and he runs a lot, and he does run the risk of injury. He just got hit pretty hard in his last game against the Texans. Got in the tent. It was very clearly a concussion, by the way. Popped out of the tent, got back on the field, which I don't agree with. I think that there are some times where we adjust concussion protocol for certain quarterbacks to get them back out there, and I just think that's a very risky game, and the Bills of all teams should probably be a little bit more careful as it pertains to health after everything they had to deal with Damar Hamlin and that very traumatic experience. So, he plays. Then we've got the Bears. They are not leading their division because unfortunately they are lumped in there with the Vikings, who have started 5-0, and the Lions, who have started 3-1. But we do have the Bears at 3-2. They had a rocky start there at the beginning of their season, but then again, like we were seeing with Bo Nix, they were able to turn things around. The Denver Broncos as well started their season 0-2, rough start, lost to the Seahawks, lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, then got 3 games in a row that they were able to get wins in, and now they are 3-2 again. 3-2 for the Broncos, 3-2 for the Bears, and 4-1 for the Commanders. The rookies are dominating, and it is very fun to see. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you've got the geriatric in Aaron Rodgers that is struggling bad, and it makes you wonder. This league is getting younger and faster and stronger and cooler, and Aaron Rodgers is getting older. No offense. If you're a Rodgers fan, maybe don't watch this episode because I'm just keeping it real with you. Those are the storylines I wanted to cover with you guys today, and now we've got to, as always, we have got to get into my hot take for today, and my hot take is this. You're not going to like it. If you're a Chiefs fan, keep scrolling. You're not going to like this one. My hot take is that the Chiefs would not be 5-0 without the refs. Oops, I went there. Yes, if you have watched Kansas City Chiefs games and you are not a Chiefs fan, you've probably watched with the same feeling that I have had, which is, are the refs closing their eyes? Are the refs trying to help this Chiefs team win every single Sunday, Monday, or Thursday? Yes, that is how it appears. It does appear that the refs are watching the Chiefs play like this whenever they make a mistake. Oops, didn't see it. Sorry, can't call it. Did you know Patrick Mahomes has had 17 interceptions called back for a defensive penalty since 2018? How ironic. Patrick Mahomes throws 17 interceptions and they're called back. For what? I don't know. Some of them could be legit. But when you constantly watch this Chiefs team get cut breaks by the refs, it kind of becomes unbearable to a point where now you just assume that everything that gets called back is in their favor and is not fair. That's just how I feel. So the Chiefs, yes, back-to-back Super Bowl champions. They are very well coached. Patrick Mahomes is the best, without a doubt, quarterback in this league right now. But do I think they get some help from the refs? I do. That's exactly what I think. So kind of a tough spot if you're anybody but the Chiefs, because you just know at any given night, if your team is going up against the Chiefs, you're not just going up against the Chiefs, you're also going up against the refs, okay? So that's my hot take. They would not be 5-0 without the refs. Now, is that to say they'd be a bad football team? No, they're still a great football team. But they've got some injuries to their offense. Patrick Mahomes will still find a way, of course, because he is the best quarterback in this league. But I do think they get some help. And we definitely have to talk about that. Let's end with some betting education, shall we? I mentioned in this show against the spread. I've talked about that a little bit on this show already. Basically, against the spread means how much will they win by, or will they be able to lose by less than this number? It's a very interesting game, and we've got a lot of teams that are good, but they don't cover the spread. And there's this little saying in the betting world that goes, good teams win, great teams cover, okay? So when you're placing your bets, it would be in your best interest to look at some of these teams that cover very well. Just because they win does not always mean they're going to cover. So you have to be cautious with that. I'm going to tell you right now in this little betting education, the teams that are the best against the spread. Like I said, the Minnesota Vikings have a 5-0 start to their season, but you may be wondering, How often are they covering the spread? They may win 5 times of their 5 games, but are they covering the spread? Yes, they have a perfect against the spread record, 5-0. The Chiefs, who are also 5-0, are 4-1 against the spread, meaning 4 times they've covered the spread, 1 time they fell short, and that was against the Chargers because I took the Chargers to cover plus 7.5, and they lost by 7. So I got my money on that one. The Colts, the Commanders, the Broncos are all 4-1 as well against the spread, meaning they are covering. They may not be winning every game, but they are covering that spread. And who is the worst team against the spread, you may be wondering? Well, it's the Carolina Panthers at 1-4. The Cleveland Browns, also 1-4. Miami, 1-4. The Rams, 1-4 as well. And the Texans, actually, despite having a hot start, are only 1-3-1 against the spread. 1-3-1 means they've covered 1 time, they've not covered 3 times, and there's been a push 1 time, meaning if the spread was 3, they either won or lost by that exact number. So, against the spread means how much do you win or lose by? Got it? Cool. That is it for today's Let Me Live episode. We had a lot of different hot topics. I had a hot take. We're giving you some betting education, and you can check out a little bit more of that betting education, the BallerAlert Instagram for the Liv Moods betting group chat. Make sure you check that out. Thank you guys so much for hanging with me. Lots of love. Appreciate you long time, and we will see you very soon.